I'm going to talk to her tomorrow for the first time in years. Hey guys, what's up? It is the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do another album review that, of course, I've been planning to do for a long time, but never got around to it because I have no time, it doesn't exist. Anyway, Ariel Pink Pom Pom. So, Ariel Pink is a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and his music has been some of the most unique and interesting pop music of the decade. It's usually very lo-fi, usually very noisy, also at the same time playful, silly, sounds kind of childish, but it doesn't keep him away from adult themes and adult lyrics. And I'm not talking about, overly sexual themes and lyrics. Yes, they do appear sometimes, but more, mature. Fusing all sorts of different genres like glam rock, hard rock, synth pop, disco, noise pop, lo-fi, maybe even a little metal here and there. This is very versatile. He is a very versatile artist, and I think Pom Pom is his most diverse and versatile record. Every single song feels different, yet they all feel original, refreshing, and dense and eccentric. I mean, Ariel Pink is a very eccentric artist, but he is at his most eccentric and kooky on this album, thus giving this album such a special personality. So we have the album opener, Plastic Raincoats in the Pig Parade, and it is a very nice, lighthearted sunshine in the sky, 60s, freaky rock pop fusion. And I just really love the twinkly guitars, the synths, the glockenspiel that sort of syncs up with the guitars, and the drums that are actually kind of kooky and rhythmic. And we also get some muffled vocals, as usual, from Ariel Pink. And it's just really nice, lighthearted opening for the album about being weird, waving your own freakish flag. And we also get some group chants and bells and whistles. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! But the fun just doesn't stop there on the album. We have the second track, White Freckles, which starts off with some really sweet and catchy, speedy guitars and synths, which after a few seconds slows down and oozes us into the core part of the song where it gets very hooky and nostalgic, and we get some kooky sound snippets, and the hook of the track is incredibly infectious. Oh, cutie, where you get those white freckles? It's a very catchy song, it's nostalgic, and it's also in 7/8 time signature, which is awesome given how catchy and accessible this song sounds. It is actually in a pretty weird time signature. Afterwards, we have Four Shadows, which is this tongue-in-cheek goth rock inspired track, sort of a fusion between some metal riffs and some 80s thriller Halloween pop music. And while I'm not a huge fan of the very deep-pitched harmonized vocals and the very smoky synths of the track, I still kind of like the aesthetics of the track, and the female vocals is a pretty creative and interesting addition. And then we have the track Lipsticks, which is also one of the highlights on the album. This is an 80s pop, sort of a synth pop, maybe a little disco song, and it's very heartfelt, very sentimental. Of course, it's very catchy, but also very fragile. I didn't expect Ariel Pink to sound this fragile and needy on this track, and it just feels sad, actually. It's just a very sad 80s nostalgic pop song. I mean, who doesn't like that? And also, this is the kind of song that you would play when it was raining outside and you're looking out the window thinking about the person you love. It is very emotional. We also have the track Not Enough Violence, starting off with some tick-tock clock sounds like it's Pink Floyd's Time and some dizzying synths, which then leads up to some lo-fi beats and some late 80s, early 90s sad pop music. And this track is actually kind of long, and the instrumentals here, they go through many different phases. We get some groovy bass and then some really impressive and entertaining drum solos at the end, which is really nice. Of course, we have the track Put Your Number in My Phone, which is one of my favorite pop songs of the decade, period. It's an incredibly sad and also nostalgic pop song. It's a very straightforward tune, not even 3 minutes long, a little shy, like 4 seconds shy, but it is just so comforting and yet sweet and yet sad. It's such a beautiful combination of emotions. I actually feel something while listening to the song. I feel something. Put your number in my phone. Put your number in my phone. I hope to get some time alone. It's a very catchy song. And then we have the track One Summer Night, which is this very charming, wavy 50s, 60s pop ballad with its verses having these pentatonic chords, which actually reminds me a lot of Asian music, because a lot of Asian music, actually most of the Asian music run on, pentatonic chords as well. And it actually kind of reminds me of that, even though it's supposed to resemble the 50s. Anyway, this track is very wavy, very reverby, and a really nice cool down point on the album. And afterwards, we even have this very fun satirical detour called Nude Beach A Go Go, which is just very reverby, but also at the same time fun, lighthearted, and listening to this song it's just a good time. Nude Beach A Go Go, Nude Beach A Go Go. Afterwards, we have Goth Bomb, which is another metal pop fusion track with some nice metal riffs, and also this track is fun, noisy, and silly as well. And we also have the track Dinosaur Carebears, which sounds like a mess, but actually if you listen to it a few more times, all of these sounds, they sort of melt into one another really well for some reason. It starts off with some weird chopped up Arabic melody, and then some bleepy bloopy Poka-Pop, and then this very groovy police reggae jam, and it's just very danceable and laid back at the end of the track, and all of these sounds just fuse together into a very welcoming and comforting way. Is actually very impressive. Of course, we have the track Negative Ed, which also toys around with more fun metal riffs, as well as some bells, like church bells, and the sampling on this track, and many other tracks on the album. They're pretty fantastic. And afterwards, the metal riffs do not stop on the track Sexual Athletics. Sexual Athletics. It's like a Black Sabbath metal riff, except wrapped around in a very toyish, silly instrumental, which I don't mind at all. But maybe this is one of the weaker tracks on the album. The lyrics, they feel a little campy, which, I mean, it's supposed to be satirical, but it's just the campiest and the corniest on the entire album. And we also have the track Jello, which is this satirical jingle tune for the food brand Jello. And it's actually a lot of fun, even though it's not one of the sharper or more interesting cuts on the album. The next track, though, Black Ballerina, is another highlight on the album because the bleepy, groovy bass line of the track immediately hooks me in right after the first second. It's incredibly catchy, and the spoken word passages on this track, they are a lot of fun. And this song is about falling in love with a dancer, except you only have $10 in your pocket, and it's some pretty emotional, lovely, nostalgic concepts being explored in Ariel Pink's music. Afterwards, you have the track Picture Me Gone, which is a 5.5 minute long slow dance song. It's very quiet, not as colorful or as vivid as other tracks on the album. But it still sounds really nice. We get some very bassy synths and vibrating whistles, which actually sounds kind of haunting to me, even though I don't think it's supposed to sound like that. It's still a really neat song, not one of the more eventful ones anyway. The second last track is Exile on Frog Street. It's like a parody of Exile on Main Street. And we get some pianos, drums, vocals syncing up in the beginning and actually for the rest of the track. And they are all very sweet and nostalgic, kind of surreal actually, especially when it hits the chorus. It gets kind of dreamy, which I love. And we have the ending to the album, Dazed in Daydreams, which is, wow, one of the most impressive pop album endings, I must say, because this is one of the most gorgeous and powerful and heartfelt endings to a pop album. It's very powerful. It's a powerful ballad, especially when it hits the points on the track where you just feel the need to sing along, and the tone of the guitars and the pianos and the keyboards, actually, they're all enchanting, sunny, nostalgic. And we hit the second half of the track where it sort of evolves into this more rock oriented um, groove, and it feels free. It's like a bird being released from its cage, and it's kind of life affirming almost. I mean, it's just a very memorable ending for me anyway. So, yeah. Even though I didn't love this album straight away, immediately after the first couple of tracks, um, really, a lot of the tracks here grew on me, and I love a majority of the tracks here. I think this is one of the most unique and most flavorful and tasteful pop albums of the decade. My favorite track here is Put Your Number on My Phone, and my least favorite is Sexual Athletics. I am giving Ariel Pink's Pom Pom a 9 out of 10, of course. So, have you listened to this album from When Dayzed? How much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Also, I will be doing a mini albums review very soon. I'm going to be talking about Camila Cabello, Matana Roberts, Yaz Ahmed, Anna Managuchi, maybe Michael Kiwanuka, and maybe a little bit of Harry Styles if I have time. And also, I will be doing album reviews on Julia Holter and Fiona Apple, and maybe Farrah Abraham.